Hello, myself. We are basically are discussing one other topic that is integration. Integration basically are discussing another topic. India account. In India account, basically we are discussing three topics basically. One is SBI Bank account. How basically SBI Group created. That is basically State Bank of India. Basically. They have given the name only. Means bank basically. That means it's India Bank. Then basically the topic was Amazon basically. How Amazon basically has created its journey. And up to what level Amazon basically is connected. Because it's a digital world and it's a AI world basically. So everything basically connects like this. So that basically we are going to discuss. And then basically the topic is after 2 days, the earthquake is going to come. This everything basically connects to what? India account. This connects to what? India account. So till now basically we discussed what basically. SBI basically have customer and in that customer basically they have banks as a customer basically. So one of the person told that how basically they might be representing the bank basically. There might be one question basically that how basically they might be representing the customer. If they will represent as a corporate world basically, that bank is a corporate world, then what are the impact going to happen? If they will represent bank as a normal person bank basically, for example, one I am basically having one normal account, so I am a saving account basically. If they will represent that basically, then what are the things going to happen? If they have created something different account type of account basically, like in bank basically, if it's a bank, right? So they will say that basically commercial account basically, but it's not commercial also. Why? Because in bank basically the retail people basically are also there basically, but they are connected with some corporate sectors and some retail sectors. That also basically you can say. So what type of bank account basically the group basically will banks basically will decide that basically this bank, for example, Citibank. Citibank जो है in SBI basically you can represent this bank as a what basically. So banks can be represented how basically. One person told that banks actually what basically. One of the person basically, even in simple language basically we will say what actually bank is. So bank is debit and credit. That's all basically. So one person told that India account basically have basically in one account basically in they have basically account in one bank. India is one account basically in one of the bank basically. Which bank basically that we can't say because it's very secret basically. That India account basically, sorry, there is one country and that country basically have one account. So that's basically very dangerous thing basically. One person will say that basically the president basically which is ruling the America or basically ruling the European basically or basically ruling in Italy basically. They basically were previously they were basically in India basically. They actually died and then basically they shifted to USA, Italy, and lots of countries. Basically. Then one other person told that the war basically it is on Iran, Iraq basically are connected with America basically. That means the Iran, Iraq basically don't know this everything basically that this every group basically are connected with SBI bank basically. They might be 100% knowing na basically. They might be 100% knowing. Why? Because in America basically 35 percentage people basically are of Indian basically Indian origin. Basically. And that also basically they are at very big level post basically. You will not believe it basically. They controls the lots of cities basically. So if they are controlling lots of cities, then you can imagine basically the public basically by default they are controlling. Public basically they are by default controlling, yeah, basically. So India, one of the person told that India is controlling the America basically. Lots of people says that George Bush basically, which is ruling the, which has actually ruled the America, he is also connected with some Indian origin basically. But which origin basically that we don't know. He was playing the role of the America president. So one of the person told that the president, the prime minister, the chief minister, these all are role basically. Few people says that they are working in some bank basically. Few people says that basically they are working in some Amazon corporation basically. Sorry, not corporation, Amazon company basically. Few people says that basically they are working in ICICI bank basically. Few people are says, telling that basically they is a chief minister and they is basically working in some software company basically. One person is telling that basically the Hyderabad Telangana basically chief minister is working in TCS company basically. Which was that basically I don't know. So one person told them what actually this is here basically. We are not able to understand this basically. Why it is like this basically? Why the creation is like this basically? That chief ministers basically are working in any of the companies basically. So one person told that the whatever things that chief minister is doing that is connected with that company basically. That means the company basically is doing the task of Hyderabad basically, and Hyderabad basically is doing Hyderabad basically got the list of tasks basically, which is divided by the GDP department, that is the finance department. Basically. So few people say that finance ministry is also basically finance minister basically is working in one of the software company in Vashi. Few people say that basically uh, this basically the railway minister basically is working in some company basically. He is playing the role of railway minister basically. That means you want to say that basically this company basically where railway minister is working, they are basically taking care of the railway because nowadays railway are basically controlled by some private company basically. That is few people wrote that basically directly displayed na basically. Why basically you are going indirectly that this person is basically playing the role basically. So directly tell na basically that this person this company is basically handling railway. So one of the person that the group basically who is displaying the basically they are now basically they are telling directly basically that railway is handled by private company. Previously they were not telling directly. Previously the railway group basically was working in some company and that company basically was doing job basically of the railway. So railway department was controlled by set of companies basically groups. So now the thing is directly public knowing that basically this group basically that is Adani group basically they are basically controlling the railway department and Tata groups are doing this and Reliance group is doing this, Patni group is doing this. So directly they are displaying. Previously it was not like that basically. Then one of the person told that without money basically nothing is possible. Without money nothing is possible. So each people basically might have the account. For example, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Chief Minister of Karnataka, Chief Minister of Hyderabad, all are basically doing job basically in some any of the companies basically. They are doing jobs in any of the companies basically. So they might be having some account basically. And in that account basically they might be having some different name basically. Because why? Because they are playing the role of Chief Minister basically. They are playing the role of Chief Minister basically. So one of the person told that each and every states basically are controlled by set of businessmen basically. Set of businessmen. Set of businessmen basically are controlling the states basically. Set of businessmen basically are controlling the states basically. So here topic basically was what? SBI Bank and that 500 account basically, which is telling that basically one person told that uh, if anybody's bodies basically have to control basically, or basically assume that basically some Gujarat basically got some amount from Japan basically. As if just taking as an example, no, basically they basically got some money from Japan, and they told that basically we want this person's body access basically. So we basically Gujarat, that is Gujaratis basically give the access of that person's body parts basically. Then one person told that that basically need to check here basically up to what level Gujarat state will go. And one person told that president of America basically previously when the World Trade Center was hitted, that time George Bush basically was president, and he was connected with some Indian origin. He was connected with some Indian origin. That is basically the story. Basically, we basically can't say what actually story is because if president is ruling, American president basically is ruling this group is basically ruling, that means that group basically is handling the certain level of countries. For example, in India basically lots of American basically are lots of American companies are basically there, because if you will see America sorry, the software companies, 70 percentage software companies are getting projects from America basically. And America is connected with only one person. They basically don't connect with the set of American government. I'm telling you, basically, they are not connected with the all the 70 percentage companies. Basically, they are only connected with one person. They only handles that one person, and that one person basically is handling 70 percentage software companies, because they can't handle the 70 percentage software companies here basically, because they have basically they have to they are basically task are basically up to very dangerous level basically, because they have to check basically the any of the software basically which is ongoing live basically, anybody is hijacking that software or not. They have to check lots of things basically, otherwise basically they will go for the 70 percentage of the software companies. Then basically anybody will hijack their software, and basically what are the things basically going to do, that only that they also basically might not be knowing this basically. So assume that basically one of the country basically told that I want this person body access, and they basically damaged that person's body, and they are damaging the body parts. So is, for example, my body parts somebody is damaging, so is basically the India country is going to affect, means India country will get big earthquake. One of the person told that also, that this will get effect basically. Then one of the person told that that need to check here. Practically, we have to check basically. Assume that basically somebody is damaging my head. Assume that basically. So what are the things basically going to affect in India country? Same way other population. I'm just taking my example basically. You can connect with you basically. So, for example, one person basically is watching um, uh, from Europe. So he can connect, assume that basically his body parts is basically somebody is attacking. So what are the impact going to happen basically? What are the impact going to happen basically? Few people says that SBI Bank basically is creating the future basically. SBI basically says that basically we are creating the future basically. We are into the future creation basically. We are basically into the future creation. We are basically into the future creation basically. So up to what level basically the SBI group has got the control? That is also basically one of the question. One of the person asked this also basically. That up to what level SBI group basically have got the control basically. So one of the person told that SBI group basically was created by set of private group basically. They basically handles many types of customers. In that basically one of the type is bank basically. Yeah, basically HSBC, HDFC, Citibank are the customer of SBI. In that basically SBI bank basically Citibank is one customer, and in that basically credit amount is 50 lakh crore. One person told that basically what is that here basically we actually not able to understand here basically what actually this is. One of the person told that we are not able to understand here basically what actually this is. One person told that we are not able to understand basically what is this here basically. One of the person told that SBI is telling that basically, sorry, सिटी बैंक इज टेलिंग दैट बेसिकली हम कस्टमर है आपके भाई, हमारे पास आपका 50 लाख करोड़ अमाउंट क्रेडिट है. So Citibank, SBI told that basically yes, here basically you are customer. So which type of account basically the SBI group basically might be handling, because this is very dangerous thing basically, because this will connect to third world war, and basically lots of people says that the third world war basically if it will start now basically, if it will start basically that only SBI group basically can start, because they only have the power, because India is that country who basically have many powers, and India basically say that basically we only will decide whether the third world war is supposed to happen, because currently basically war has not started yet basically, war has not started yet basically, war will start basically, war has not started yet basically. So one of the person told that if we end the SBI bank then war will stop. Few people are up to thinking up to that level also basically, that if we will end the SBI bank, so war will stop basically, or the third world war will stop basically. But that is going not going to stop now basically. If SBI will bank will end, that means America will end, Europe will end. Sorry, not end basically. In America, the Indian will end basically. Then in Europe, basically, Indian nationality is going to get effect. So lots of big things are going to get effect basically. It's not like that basically. Lots of people says that basically इतना ही तो कुछ होगा यार और उससे ज़्यादा क्या होने वाला है. But it is going to affect lots of things basically. It is going to affect lots of things basically. So one of the person told that it is going to affect lots of things basically. It is going to affect to lots of things basically. So one of the person told that SBI Bank basically have one account. Sorry, SBI Bank basically they basically also have account in any one of the bank basically, and they basically have are giving the money to the banks basically. That here basically earthquake is not supposed to happen. Here in Mumbai tsunami is not supposed to happen. Here in Chennai basically tsunami is not supposed to happen. Here in Kerala basically the earthquake is not supposed to happen. Here in Singapore basically the earthquake is not supposed to happen. So earthquake is not supposed to happen basically. For that basically lots of process basically are doing ongoing basically. I had taken one example. 50 countries there basically. 50 countries there basically. So 50 country basically is there basically, and 50 countries basically are doing the process. So assume that basically in that process, India is also one of the country. India is also one of the country. They are doing the process. So one of the person told that how basically India is securing themselves basically. There is one question basically because whole world basically is getting effect to earthquake, but India is not getting it. India is not getting big earthquake basically. So question will arrive basically. So few people says that India basically is having Ram Raj. India is having Ram temple. India is having Balaji temple. India is having this temple. India basically is having Haji Ali Dargah. India is having Mumbra Devi. In Mumbai, basically Mumbra Devi is there basically. So lots of people says that Mumbra Devi and Haji Ali Dargah and Siddhi Vinayak, these groups are basically saving the Mumbai basically. That's why in Mumbai basically, have you ever seen basically earthquake? Have you ever seen the tsunamis basically? Why? Because these groups are telling that basically the temples basically are paying the money basically. So lots of people say that Siddhi Vinayak basically God is saving the Mumbai, but in really basically what is Siddhi Vinayak temple basically are paying the money basically to certain groups basically, and they are telling that basically don't give earthquake in Mumbai, don't give earthquake in Mumbai. Mumbra Devi is giving the money to set of groups and telling that basically don't give earthquake in Mumbai. Haji Ali Dargah groups are paying. Haji Ali Dargah means lots of people says that basically they have basically their own stock exchange basically. Like BSC stock exchange is there na basically. They have their own stock exchange basically. We will not believe this basically. That they have their own stock exchange basically. We will not believe is basically this. So they are basically paying what to say basically infinity money to set up groups and telling them basically don't give earthquake basically. Whether this is correct or not basically that basically is the question because this only can checked from where basically that is from SBI Bank because as the people who are basically controlling Mumbai city, Haji Ali Dargah, Siddhi Vinayak, then the Mumra Devi, they are all are basically Indian origin only basically. So few people told that basically Mumbra Devi temple basically account is where basically. So few people tell that it's in Citibank. Few people are tell that few people tell that Shirdi Sai Baba temple basically account is where basically. They are telling few people are telling it's in Bank of Maharashtra. So one of the person of the Bank of Maharashtra is basically paying the money to that group basically don't give earthquake in Mumbai. So one of the person told that only basically the SBI group know that basically what is the reality fact. Basically. What is the reality is that SBI bank only basically knows. And this is real basically. If you will basically go in detail of SBI bank basically, you will say that basically yes, yeah, basically. Mumbai basically Mumbra Devi temple is there, Haji Ali Dargah is there, Siddhi Vinayak temple is there, then the many temples are there, Sai Baba temple is there. They are basically paying the amount, certain level of amounts basically they are paying to certain level of groups basically. And they are paying amount to government also. So few people say that basically government is paying the amount, the temples are paying the amount, people basically are paying the amount. Then where basically these monies are going basically? Yeah, basically. That is also a question, basically. Because temples are also paying, governments are also paying. What is this basically? So in next video basically we are going to see up to what level basically the transactions of SBI bank is ongoing. Because this is connected with very dangerous topic basically. This will convert to world war also basically. But world war basically will not happen so soon basically because in America 30% population basically are of Indian basically. So do you think basically in America basically America will start war basically? If they will start then basically 30% India basically they will be responsible. If Europe will start a war basically then 35% population basically are of Indian basically. So they will say that basically we are responsible for Indian people. Basically. If UAE will start for war basically, then in UAE basically the 30-40% people basically are of Indian origin basically. So they will not start war. They will not start a war so soon basically. That basically the SBI bank people know that basically. So in detail basically we are going to discuss this topic basically. That is SBI bank basically, not banks, and other banks are customer of SBI Bank, and other retail groups are also customer of SBI, and corporate group are also telling that basically we are also customer of SBI. And second topic is Amazon Web Service, and third topic is after 2 days the earthquake will come 100%. Few people says that basically in India basically 100% earthquake will come in India. That basically is telling basically whether it is correct or not. Basically, that we can't say. So that topic basically we are going to discuss in next video.